Hello, Diane. We are
Hello.
here on our first ever Lakes Live. It's so exciting.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to be my guinea pig for the first ever one. I thought, right, well, what's my favourite brand in the world? Herdy. Right, I've got to have Diane on my first one. So, as anybody knows, I am an absolute Herdy geek. We've just been talking about it. Phil keeps bemoaning, yeah, thank you. Phil keeps bemoaning the price of the coasters. I keep going in and buying more coasters. I have to call Diane, I'm running out of things to buy from you, but I will keep going. I will keep going. So the purpose of the Lakes Lives really is to share the lives of some, key and interesting people in the Lake District, to celebrate Lake District and to share the Lake District love, just as we did in the lockdown lessons. But to find out a bit about you, Diane behind the sheep, and, how Herdy even came to be, which I'm fascinated to hear. We have been chatting off air, and I'm annoyed with myself now because those questions were great and those answers were fantastic. So we're not going to probably have to repeat some of them. But just tell us a little bit about Diane, and also I'm really interested in how the Herdy brand even started.
Well, it's like all best things, really. There were no plans, and Spence and I, my husband and I, have worked together since 2000 when we set up our own design practice. Spencer's from a branding background, so he does a lot of corporate identity and signage and wayfinding and things like that. And I had spent 20 odd years working as a professional interior designer for architectural practices, so it was mainly commercial work that I did. And in 2000 we set up our own design practice, and we were working out of an office in North Manchester. And then a couple of years later, we ended up buying a weekend home here in the Lake District. And we used to come up every weekend, absolutely loved it. And then after a while, we just thought, why are we going back to Bolton on Mondays? It doesn't make sense. Let's move up here. So we did, and we relocated our design business to Kendal. And I think that was in 2002. And then, we were working nationally for clients such as Nissan and Marks and Spencer's, Argos, various universities, councils, lots of varied work, really. And we built up our design business. We got quite a lot of work locally for people like Simon at English Lakes Hotels. And we built our practice up to about six or eight designers, and it was all going really well. And then we had this idea of something just to keep us occupied at the weekends, which was Herdy. And the inspiration behind that really was moving to the Lake District, and obviously you look around the different shops and you get an idea of what people are selling. And then we ended up going to Helsinki for my 40th birthday, which is quite a while ago now, which is a bit depressing. But we were just blown away, really, with the giftware and just the quality of the design in a lot of the local shops that were selling to tourists. And we thought there's nobody really doing something that's a really sort of contemporary take on the Lake District. So we got our thinking caps on, and we probably spent about 18 months, 2 years really developing the ideas. And the thought came to us when we were both on a walk. I think it was in the Langdales actually, and we were walking along, and this very, very cute little Herdwick sheep popped out and said hello, as they do as you're walking along. And it was like a light bulb moment. We thought, this is the brand. This is, the Herdwick is exactly. The Herdwick is
cute, isn't it?
Well, they've got these cute little teddy bear faces, and
they come in every colour.
Yeah, exactly, with all the smit marks and everything. Sometimes, and we just thought that it represented the lakes to us, because it just meant on every single walk that we'd ever been on, we saw the Herdwick sheep, and they roam free on the fells. And the more that we looked into it, the more we realised actually they help shape the Lake District landscape. So we just thought that's the face of our brand, Herdy. And so we registered the trademark. Sorry?
Literally the face of your brand.
Yeah, exactly. So unlike a lot of people who might start out with a product or, you know, a service and then develop a brand to fit that, we like to do things the hard way. So we created a brand first and then decided what to do with it. So I think we spent about 6 months doing the trademarking process, and then launched the brand in 2007. So we've been going 13 years now.
And what did you put the brand on? What was the design first on?
Well, we thought we'd just try a few products to start with, just to do a soft launch to see what reaction we got. So we just had key rings, badges, and mugs to start with. And we turned up at the Westmoreland show in 2007, and because we'd explained what we were doing to the organisers, he said, "Oh, it'd be brilliant if we put you right next to all the Herdy pens." And so we were thinking, "Oh, brilliant! You know, we've got this brand called Herdy. We're right next to the Herdy. It's going to be fantastic." And then 12 o'clock the night before, the government put a ban on livestock movement because of the second outbreak of foot and mouth. So we turned up at the county show 6 o'clock in the morning in a field on our own in a tent away from the main show amidst all these empty Herdy pens. We thought, well, if we can make it work today, we can make it work, you know. And it was great. We had a fantastic response from people. They really loved what we were trying to do. And that sort of gave us the confidence then to put a little bit more money in. We cashed in an endowment that we had on our house that we sold. And we put the money into developing more products. And then so we launched properly in the spring 2008. Yeah.
And did you launch straight away in a shop or online? How do you launch?
Well, because we were really busy with our design business, we thought it would only ever be a wholesale basis that we'd supply on. So we packed our little salesman's trunk and, you know, trundled off around the lakes, showing the products to people. And you know, and little by little, we started building up retailers in the lakes that were stocking the brand.
So how did you go from that then to opening your own stores? Because I presume at that point you had to actually increase your range, unless you were just going to just be mugs and key rings and badges.
Well, from 2008 to 2010, obviously we increased the range quite significantly. It still wasn't huge, but you know, we had quite a number of different design mugs in there, and we had some stationery items, key rings and badges and what have you. And then in 2010, one of our retailers who was based in a little shop in Grasmere said that she just had a baby. She was finding running the shop and an internet business way too much for her. And she wanted to concentrate more on the marketing side of things, working from home with a baby. So she asked if we would take the lease of the shop on. So we said, yeah, and it was a small shop. So we thought, well, actually, we haven't really got a huge range, so we only need a small shop.
Yeah.
So that's what we did, and we opened in the Easter of 2010 our little shop in Grasmere.
I love it. It's so cute.
Yeah, world's smallest shop.
It's so little. It just fits the brand. I just love it.
And it's caravan design. When you come into shop fittings and things, you know, you've got to try and find storage places where you can, because it's so tiny.
Yeah. So you started off with 3 things in the range when you first went to Westmoreland Show. How many items do you have now?
We've got about 400 SKUs, something like that now.
Wow. What's a SKU?
Yeah.
What's an SKU?
Stock keeping unit. So, for instance, that is a stock keeping unit, our peat mug in blue, and obviously 5 other colours. So we've got 6 colours. So that's 6 stock keeping units in total. So it's not 400 unique products, but it's the different derivatives, whether it's a different size or a different colour. Yeah.
But you've got to manage 400 different things to make sure each shop has the right mix of them all. And the Herdy design itself, I mean, I love the colours. The colours are just perfect, I think. The Herdy design itself, has that changed much since you first started, or is it always Does he always look like that?
Exactly the same.
Has he?
Yeah.
I do love him. I can't now look at a Herdwick sheep without thinking of Herdy. I feel like they should all be branded. So how many shops do you have now, Diane?
And we have 4 shops. We've got Keswick, Bowness, Grasmere and Kendal.
Yeah.
We were in Hawes in the Yorkshire Dales for a little while, but sadly our lease ran out last year. So rather than try to find another unit, we decided that we were going to take Herdy on the road and do lots more outdoor shows and events and things like that. So we've got a little mobile Herdy that goes around. Obviously not this year because all the events have been cancelled, but hopefully next year we'll be back on the road again with Herdy as well.
How many shops do you stock then as a wholesaler?
We've probably got about 250 live accounts throughout the UK and some overseas as well. We supply about 4 retailers in Japan, a couple of retailers in Australia, maybe 4 or 5.
It translates abroad. I'm surprised the idea of the Herdy translates.
Well, I suppose in the States, I mean, they do have sheep. You know, you think of it as a cattle country, but they do have quite a lot of sheep. Think, you know, and Australia, sheep are a big deal as well. And Japan, like the Japanese people, like the simple icon of Herdy, the face. Often when we're in the shops and the Japanese tourists may come in, they will say kawaii, which means cute. And so they just like the cuteness of it. And I think just because Herdy is a really sort of positive, smiley brand, people like that about it. You know, it's all about positivity.
It really does feel like that. The brand itself, it reminds me a little bit of the Innocent brand before Coke took it on. That it's fun, it's a little bit irreverent, it's, you know, this is us, it's personality driven. It's like you said before, completely client driven. So the clients, you know, your customers drive the innovation, I'm sure. You take their feedback very seriously. So it feels a bit like the kind of the Innocent brand as it used to be.
Yeah.
I think, are you surprised by how it took off?
I think we are really. I mean, everything's about a matter of timing sometimes, and you know, people say you make your own luck, and you do to a degree. But when we first started off with Herdy, it coincided with the financial crisis, and my interiors work just dried up pretty much overnight. So going into sort of the end of 2009, early 2010, the phone just stopped ringing because the banks stopped lending, and the projects that I was working on, you know, were several £1 million projects, so they needed bank funding to get them off the ground. So I just put all my energy into Herdy then. So it sort of changed from being something that we could do at the weekend to let's get serious about this and see what we can do, you know. And I think because Spencer and I are both creative people, this is definitely a real creative outlet for us. And, you know, because we design all of our own products, we do all of our own marketing. We obviously design the stores, the fit outs in the stores. We do all of our own photography. Everything's done in-house, graphics, everything. So it's a massive outlet, creative outlet for us. And so we've just had fun building it over the years. And just the interaction with customers has been second to none. It's been absolutely incredible. And we've just loved every minute.
And can you look at a Herdwick sheep on the hills and thank them?
I sometimes get a tear in my eye when I look at the Herdwick sheep because they're just so cute, aren't they?
They are.
You know, and they represent the lakes to us, and we just love it here. We've you know, the day that we moved up here, we were so happy, and you know, because we both like the great outdoors. We like going out walking. We've got a dog. We like spending time outside. So it's just the perfect place for us, really. And to have a business that's here as well and means so much to people to represent the lakes is fantastic. And
it really does. I've never spoken to a local who doesn't love Herdy. You know, that's the feeling you get about it. It kind of feels like ours, you know, like it belongs to us as locals. And the brand, the range, you've got your lovely little planter behind you. So over the last 3.5 years since we opened Ashdown Jones, I have developed my Herdy range. I could probably open a shop on my own, but my daughter, Tess, who was our stylist, and Edward, excuse me, they both raid my Herdy collection every time they do a styling shoot. So if you look at our photographs, you will see there is always a Herdy there, and it's usually mine. They've got a lovely little cuddly, the little toy Herdy, you know, what you want, the one that you've got the hiking outfit.
Yeah, little Herdy.
Yeah, so they sneak him onto beds sometimes. Even when you're like going to a bachelor pad, you know, and you see, and you know it's not his, and you see a little Herdy on the bed. But yeah, they
everywhere.
Well, there are some very cuddly men out there, that's true. But yeah, so we'll look out on our photographs. We should put a competition together for that, actually. Spot the Herdy. The little Herdy teapot I really love. That's a really good little set. Excuse me, with little Herdys on top. And also the salt and pepper pot on their own little piece of grass. I love that. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Sorry, I am a Herdy evangelist. But let's talk about, well, first of all, I want to know where Herdy's going. If you have anything you can share on that, any exciting plans, or is it going to be just more of the same, but more? You know, what's kind of in the next 10 years for Herdy? And then I want to dive into a bit more about Diane, the person behind Herdy.
Okay, now you're putting me on the spot, aren't you? What are we going to be doing? I think, like a lot of businesses at the moment, we're sort of in that kind of survival revival mode after all the lockdown because of COVID. And I think, you know, obviously that situation is still with us. So we're very mindful of that at the moment. We have this year, Herdy Campers has been launched. So that's Herdy Camper Vans, which is at the moment a fleet of 3 VW transporter camper vans, all liveried up with lots of Herdiness. So they feature a bespoke Herdy interior, and you even get a set of 4 Herdy mugs so that you can enjoy a nice Herdy brew whilst you're away for the week in your Herdy camper van.
That's a lovely idea. That's launching now, is it?
That's launched, yeah. A lovely couple called Sarah and Martin Merkel are running that operation. It's their business, and we've licensed and done all the design work for them to fit them out. And they come from a background of hospitality, running campsites, and they ran the Eskdale campsite for a number of years. And then they came up with this concept of having some camper vans and thought that they'd look fantastic, you know, branded up as Herdy. And they do. They look absolutely amazing.
I agree. Actually, it seems to go together, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's getting out there and escaping, isn't it? And it's just like the Herdy. So it's the character of the brand perfectly. And lots of families have hired them this summer, and just to see the joy on the kids' faces when, you know, you open the door and they see all this lovely Herdy interior. It's absolutely fantastic. Brilliant.
Sounds like a Disney for adults, I think.
Yeah,
Herdy.
Exactly. And you know, we've even had people photographing the Herdy camper vans on the motorway and saying we've spotted one, and we spotted one at such and such a car park. And so it's sort of spawning a whole new social media thing as well, where people are spotting them out and about. So that's been a fantastic thing to do this year. And also with Herdy Sleep, which is our
I've just seen that. Yeah.
wall mattress.
Yeah.
We're into the 2nd generation of that now. We're suspending sales just at the moment because we've got some issues with deliveries, but we think that that's a fantastic product to go forward with, because we buy the wool direct from farmers here in the Lake District. We pay them well over what they get through the wool board for the wool, and then that wool is processed, and we use the Herdwick wool mixed with cotton and cashmere in the sleep layer of the surface layer of the mattress. So it's a really nice opportunity for us to be able to sell a product that actually delivers direct benefits to the farmer themselves. So at the moment, we've got a cooperative of about 6 farms, I think, in Unswater that are supplying the wool for us. And, you know, we're looking to increase the range of products around the whole sort of sleep and well-being side of things. Because, you know, again, the Lake District is synonymous with fresh air, getting out there, feeling better. you know, and we think that if we could encompass all of those really great things in the brand, and develop the range of products to go with the Herdy Sleep mattress, then that's quite an exciting opportunity for us. And of course, in our main Herdy range, we've got lots and lots more Herdy loveliness to come.
Way, honestly, and my fingers are itching to buy something more Herdy. So you need to come out with some more things, because there's only so many tea towels and oven gloves you can have with a Herdy motif. I love that connection though, the wool connection, because you know that is a true connection, isn't it? So have you ever thought about again, I'm going to put you on the spot, so no wriggling please, but have you ever thought about like opening a hotel, or at least just doing a room in a hotel? Can you not talk to us about maybe having a Herdy room?
We did speak to a hotel. It was probably about 4 or 5 years ago now, about doing a bespoke Herdy room. We'd absolutely love to do something like that. So if you know
in a Herdy room, although it probably just look a bit like my bedroom, you probably would. But yeah, I mean, you'd have a Herdy on the wall, and it'd just be amazing. And the Herdy Sleep. Yeah. Oh,
well, we have done some customizing for customers. You know, there's one couple recently got in touch with us and wanted a Herdy camper van decoration for the back of their motorhome. So we did that for them. That was quite good fun. So we're open to offers.
Herdy weddings. You already have
we've had so many Herdy weddings. Lots and lots of people getting in touch, you know, with pictures of their Herdy wedding cakes. They use Herdy umbrellas. We did have a wedding down south that took 150 of our Herdy face masks. We used to have some little cardboard ones that we used to give out at country shows. And they had all the guests wear them, and all the wedding photographs were taken with these Herdy cardboard face masks on. So it looks like a wedding of Herdys. It's hilarious. It's brilliant.
What have you done, Diane? What have you done to these weddings? Poor people. My sister's a wedding photographer. I hope she's listening, Kathy. She's a wedding photographer down in Norfolk, so maybe it'll give us some ideas how to ramp up her weddings. So thank you for all that. That's great. Let's talk about Diane the person. So first of all, just tell me, because you live in Troutbeck Bridge, we're talking about a beautiful Edwardian home. What does your day look like when you're not at work? What do you enjoy doing? Or do you just work 7 days a week?
We do work a lot, I have to say. And I mean, particularly at the moment as well, you know, because we're just trying to get back on track with things. But we just like getting out in the great outdoors. We like gardening. We've only got a relatively small garden, but we designed it and landscaped it. And so we like getting out there and growing our own veggies, which I think a lot of people have done this year. And I like outdoor swimming. So
tell us about that.
Yeah, so I went in Idle Water on Sunday without a wetsuit. So
that's very great.
Bracing, I think is the word.
Yeah, well, I camped out on Saturday night with my little 4-year-old grandson, and I was cold. He had all our clothes all over his sleeping bag, so he was fine, but I was a bit chilly. But to think about getting up and getting in the lake, no, you won't catch me doing that. That's
7 o'clock Sunday morning.
Well, do you know, our photographer, who is our photographer for all our homes, it's an amazing photographer called Stuart. He also photographed a book called Wild Swimming in the Lake District. Have you come across that book yet?
Yes.
So they're his photographs. So are you like trying to do so many lakes and tarns, or is it just something?
I haven't done that, actually. I've just been swimming in a couple of rivers and Windermere and
rivers. They're even colder.
Yeah, really cold.
There's a Troutbeck, isn't there? There is actually.
Yeah. I haven't been in Troutbeck though.
Bit shallow. Okay, so you do some wild swimming. Do you do? I know that you're big into your health and wellness. Is there anything you want to talk about there? Is it more from like a self-development point of view, or do you like things like yoga? What is it you enjoy doing?
I love yoga, actually. In fact, I started yoga last year because early last year in March, I was diagnosed with cancer and had to have an operation. Thankfully, it was all sorted out with surgery. I didn't need any further treatment, so I was really, really lucky. But one of the things that they recommended was doing yoga, and I've never really been a very spiritual person, and I think that sort of put me off yoga in the past. But a lovely lady called Amy, who was very much into sports yoga and sort of building up your strength and everything, she gave me a number of one-to-one sessions, and that really got me into it. And it's just the most amazing exercise, because it puts your head straight, it puts your body straight, builds up your strength, and I absolutely love it. I'm 100% convert now to yoga. I think everybody should do it. Should be compulsory.
You need to do Herdy yoga somehow, and then you'll get me on it then. Otherwise, without that, you've got no chance. I just think I haven't got time. I need quick exercises.
Yeah.
Yoga has to be about being.
It's great for your mental well-being as well, yoga, and also for your flexibility. And I think as you get older, your flexibility tends to go a little bit. You're not quite as bendy as you were when you were younger. So it's brilliant for that as well.
And what about, do you read? Are you a reader?
I like reading. I don't get much opportunity to do it. I think that's partly because working at a computer all day, your eyes are tired at the end of the day. And then the last thing I want to do is pick up a book and read. But at the weekend, sometimes I will read. I read a book this weekend.
You read a book at the weekend?
Yeah. It was about the artist Man Ray and his relationship with the photographer Lee Miller.
Really?
Fictional, but based on fact. But really interesting book. Yeah,
I bet that's a good book. Okay, I will add that to my list. Do you ever read any non-fiction and books about sort of marketing or business building, anything like that?
Yeah, I like reading books about business and books about business people as well. I think one of the best books that I've read was about Steve Jobs, and that was really, really fascinating. I can't actually remember the author now, but he was the guy that used to write for Washington Post.
I think it's the official autobiography, isn't it? Well, sorry.
Yes, yeah. And that is a fantastic read about a very, very complex, complicated person, but just the whole passion and ethos that he had behind Apple. It was quite an incredible man. I don't think a very easy man to work for, but the whole story of it is fascinating.
Yeah, I wonder if somebody will say that about us one day. Not very easy to work for, but the story was
fascinating. That about me now.
So that actually brings us neatly on to my next question. Would you ever write a book, Diane?
Do you know, when I was younger, when I was a kid, I always dreamed of writing a book, and I used to. I'd get a little notebook and I'd put chapter 1. This is when I was sort of 7 or 8, and I always had really, really wanted to write. So maybe it might be, in a few years' time, we write about the experience that we've had building a business. And I think it's a lot of people's dream, isn't it, to run their own business. And I think any sort of thoughts or tips or ideas that you can give people, or just really inspire people that anybody's capable of it. You've just got to have a real sort of passion and drive for what you do.
Yeah. Is that what you think has made you a success, the passion and the drive? Because I think you've had a very strong vision that you've really stuck to. I mean, even the fact that looks exactly the same as the first Herdy, I think that just shows me how much of a strong vision that you had. What do you think has been the sort of overriding secret of your success?
I think there's one word that I would use, and that's perseverance. It's just keeping going, and obviously we all make mistakes, and certainly we've made more than our fair share, and you learn by those mistakes, and the key thing is not to make that mistake again. But I think one of the reasons why the statistics abound that however many businesses fail in the first 3 years, is probably down to the fact that people completely underestimate how much effort it takes to get something off the ground. And it really does, and that's when people have said to me, about setting up a business. And my advice is choose something that you're really passionate about and you really love doing, because you're going to spend a lot of time doing it. If you don't like it, then you're not going to have a very enjoyable time. But yeah, you've just got to pick yourself up after all the knocks and get on in there. Just keep going.
If somebody told us, either of us two probably in February, over the next few months you're going to have to close your business, you're not going to be allowed to see people, you can't trade, nobody's going to be allowed to come to the Lake District, you couldn't have even imagined that 4 months later you would still have a business. But we have actually done it. We've succeeded, and I think that it's the early perseverance, that momentum, that that motivation, that drive that gets you through times like this. It's almost like a wartime mentality, isn't it? Let's just get on with it. Let's just get through it.
We've actually seen a big positive side out of what's happened for us as a business. I think because when we went into lockdown, we thought that now is not the time to sell. Now is the time to give. There are an awful lot of people who are in really awful situations here. They're locked inside. They can't see their family and friends. So what we've got to do is we've just got to ramp up that positivity, try and make people smile. So we put all of our resource into our social media feeds. We created Herdy Freebies, which was a series of different things that you could do. You could download colouring in pages for your kids to do. There were little 3D models of camper vans you could make. We did little downloadable cards that you could send off to your friends for free. We also developed our Giphy page, which was lots of cute animations that you could share with your friends. I mean, that's had over 4 million views now, which is absolutely phenomenal.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Kate, our designer, designed the virtual Herdy hub, so you can send that by your phone. And we just had the most incredible interaction on social media, because obviously a lot more people were on social media. And lots of people got in touch with us to say thank you for what we've done, because it really cheered them up. And we started the Herdy Heroes as well whilst we were off, because we got contacted by a guy whose wife worked as an anaesthetist at Cumberland Hospital, and he wanted us to do a little card for her. So what we did was we took a photograph of her and we Herdified her along with her colleagues at the hospital, and we sent that, and they absolutely loved it. So we came up with the idea of Herdifying people as a little present, just to say thank you for everything that they were doing, for the community. So every week we asked people to nominate somebody, and then Kate Herdified them, and they were just brilliant little characters that she created. And then we thought, well, what can we do with all these wonderful people that we've celebrated? So we made the Herdy Heroes tea towel design, and we've had that selling now since July the 2nd, I think, when it was we launched it on the 72nd birthday of the NHS. And we've raised nearly £14,000 for charity on the sale of that, which is split between the NHS, the Great North Air Ambulance, Cumbria Community Foundation, and also the Lake District Mountain Rescue. So that's been a fantastic thing to do, and a real positive that's come out of what could have been a really negative time.
It was positive because you've turned into positive. You've thrown all your Herdy positivity at reaching out, and I think that was just so important for people. People needed brands to reach out. There were some brands that we didn't hear from at all, right? Over those.
Yeah, we noticed that actually. Yeah.
There was a real difference between, because actually, Phil and I had this conversation. What can we possibly do? We can't show, we haven't got teams going out styling houses. We haven't got houses that we can sell at the moment. What can we do? And that's why we developed the lockdown lessons. So we had a lockdown lesson every day for 50 days. Yeah. And that was our way of reaching out and celebrating the community. And it just actually kept us going more than everybody else.
Well, it does, because that positivity comes back on you as well. I had the most amazing conversations with customers whilst we were off, and that, it's very, very special actually.
Oh, that's lovely. I think, well, I personally will look back at this last few months as being a real positive time, and I think you will as well. And I think that's what we've tried to do, to share it with our communities. So we're coming to the end now, and that has been fantastic and fascinating. I knew it would be. I love your Herdy story. You've got to write a book, Diane. You've got to. Honestly, I will be the first person to buy it, I promise. Just share with us one favourite quote. In fact, I heard this on a podcast the other day when he said, if you had a billboard, somebody gave you a billboard, what would you write on the billboard? So we don't really have billboards, definitely not in the Lake District, but if you could, what would you write?
I think be positive. You know, if you are positive, even if you have to fake it or pretend to be positive, you get positivity back in spades. And I think if you're negative, you're only going to get negative responses. So you're in that downward spiral. So even if you've got to fake that smile, fake it and be positive. Because with positivity come really great experiences.
Completely agree. That's a great point to end on. So really appreciate your time, Diane. And you've been the first Lakes Live. I'll get you back when you've actually written your book to help you promote it.
Well, I'll put that on my list of things to do then.
Please do. Can you put it at the top though, please? Because I know your things to do is probably about as long as mine, if not longer. So no, really appreciate your time. Thank you ever so much for sharing
nice
this.
Sam.
And I've really enjoyed it.
All right.
Have a good day. Thanks, Diane. Bye.